Hello guys, bringing you a Tomb Kings battle finally. I've been playing them with them quite a lot, testing them out, and I think they're a really cool race. They look amazing, which is one of the most important things to me. I actually just play for, like a little bit of a nerd boner, not just to win all the time. But these guys are one of the favourite models I've seen. Necropolis Knights with Halberd. I mean, they ride on fucking stone cobras with like the souls of their enemies inside. Can't beat that. Super badass. So my opponent will be playing as Bretonnia, and this is a really interesting build because it sort of tests these guys, to their limit. I was a bit concerned that they weren't strong enough for the role that they perform, but this is a pretty good test, and they do quite well. So they are going to be up against quite a range of the strongest cavalry, really, or some of the strongest cavalry in the game. They've got Grail Knights to contend against, Questing Knights. These Grail Guardians are absolute tanks. They're sustained melee combat. They're one of the most expensive cavalry in the game. Knights of the Realm, anti-large specialists, quite like the Grail Knights. And 2 mounted yeomen. So that's a lot of cavalry for just these guys and another group. Got another group hidden over here in the woods to contend with. They're going to be getting spear support, and they're going to be getting buffed. So I have a Lich Priest, Lore of Nekara. Really good Lore of Magic. I quite like it. It's quite versatile. Got a lot of debuffs and buffs. So that's an area of effect melee debuff. That's a vortex spell. I just bought that in case of any peasant blobs. That's a direct damage and slow spell, which is obviously really good against Bretonnia, considering they've got quite high value cavalry. 44% physical resistance, which is going to come into huge effect, be used to really good effect on my cavalry to help buff them. And a weapon damage buff. And he heals everyone when he casts. And he's got a mouldy-ass mummy face and a funny voice that sounds like he's smoked a few too many durries in his time. So my leader here is going to be a Tomb King on a Kemrian War Sphinx. And that's going to be awesome to watch because he's going to be used to proper effect. Bouncing through peasants, turning them into wine. Turning peasant grapes into wine. Front line of Tomb Guard Halberd, because I figured he's going to have a lot of cavalry, and they're quite elite, armor piercing, and they hold quite well. Let's have a quick look at them, because they're quite cool. I like the ones with the masks on. I think they're pretty badass looking. Very cool unit. So we'll kick things off. He has, like I said, all the cavalries, all the good juicy cavalries. He's got lots of men-at-arms polearm, which actually do really well against Tomb Kings. They hold out, sort of keep them at bay and poke at each other for a while. He's got men-at-arms. He's got a couple peasant mobs. Got to get the peasant mobs. Cannot play Bretonnia without some peasants to just send in for your own amusement. Armed with shovels and picks, they are going to get absolutely mulched. They're actually quite a good unit. I find that they like hang around until the end. So off the bat, we've got old Stankface coming out. He's going to take some arrows, but it's okay. Doesn't bother him. He's literally already dead. Look at his horse has like 20 arrows in the head. That is OP. He's going to overcast the Vengeance Spirit McJobber thing on these Grail Knights. Just want to get some early damage in. I overcast it. I like the sort of skeletal fist that comes out. I overcast it, but I didn't realise that just makes it more of a speed debuff. I thought it would do more damage, but it's good to know that now. Earthblood, because he's got a Lore of Life caster who's going to be healing loads. So as the battle kicks off, it's going to be a lot of screening and a lot of sort of like baiting each other out. It's not going to, kick straight off. This left side was quite difficult for me because I was microing probably mainly from this sort of view. And I knew there was funny business going on this side of the woods. We've got Knights of the Realm encroaching, mounted yeomen. Luckily, they can't see any of my contingent here. Oh, by the way, I've got these Necroharan horsemen who are supposed to be, cutting down peasants, catching routing troops, so on and so forth. They get a bit stuck up in the fight, though. A bit stuck on things that I didn't want them to. So, like I said, there's just going to be a bit of screening going on. The Necropolis Knights are coming out just to be like... Let's watch them move, because they are so cool, I think. What an amazing unit. Really cool. The Tomb Kings are so wicked. I love that. Right. The Necroharan horsemen here are going to try and sort of swing round into these peasant bowmen just to stop them applying their pressure and their poison. They're going to see fire off some arrows, and it's going to hit our boys. Luckily, they're shielded, so they're going to take it. Also helps to be undead. I think I'm going to cast the physical resistance on them here, just because I don't want them to get too mashed. And the Grail Knights are going to sort of charge them in the back here. Probably do a bit of damage, but luckily got that physical resist. These Necropolis Knights are going to come over and sort of like see them off. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to come in here because we will mess you up. The important thing about this build is the spears are always moving with the Necropolis Knights, because on their own, I think they're going to get wrecked. Right, we've got a charge happening here. I probably wasn't microing. No, not a charge. A feigned charge. Another Usurian's Vengeance going down on these guys here, which is good. It's really whittling them away. I mean, he's been healing them, but I mean, they're still, you know, they're still draining their HP, which is good. Gonna feign pulling back, but decide it's actually time to pay these peasants a visit, because they're just bothering me. And for the most part, these guys get an alright charge, but I think they pull back, which doesn't really work in my favour. Simultaneously, we're going to get charged by these boys. But we'll watch this, because this is going to be more juicy.
Fight! Kill! Our lives depend on it!
Just shaving a bit off the side there. Just a little shave off the side. Then they're going to be pulled straight back, because they do not want to fight Grail Knights. It's not going to be a fun fight for them. Or Knights of the Realm, so. Here we've engaged. These scorpions, these Cobra Cav are just going to be like doing their thing, breathing their poison all over these men-at-arms. Oh, such a cool model. I think I take a rear charge here from Mounted Yeoman, and it negatively affects my skeleton's leadership. But, you know, once the fight sort of levels out, we're going to be getting better results. Necropolis Knights here take a double head-on charge from Grail Knights and Knights of the Realm, which is brutal. But we've got spears for support, and we've got we can, you know, allocate resources out of our line. We can just take the odd Tomb Guard Halberd out to support, and that's going to help us a lot. So they are getting whooped, which is no surprise. I mean, they're taking a few down with them. Here we go. But what we're going to do is we're going to debuff. We're going to drop the melee attack and melee defense of this entire blob with our Neckar and Lich Priest. And it's going to give us a little bit more of a fair sort of fight. We've got the spears in for support, and the damage is starting to sort of rack up on these Grail Knights and these Knights of the Realm, to be fair. Over here we have Grail Guardians have come in and engaged. These guys are losing. They're not losing decisively, which is really good. The spears are sort of holding the back. Everything's going to plan, and we have Tomb Guard pulling over. So these guys, they look like they're going to get I often feel like it looks like they're going to get wiped out really quickly, but what I think I forget is that their model count is actually quite low. So there's only 18 of them in a model, in a unit, and it makes it seem like they're very squishy, but actually you'll see them perform insanely well during this battle. So these guys are now losing decisively. They've been surrounded. It's time for the War Sphinx to come in whilst everyone's busy and start mashing some peasants. Let's go. That's what we like, the big Mershams. Oh, the big paw slap and the tail smash simultaneously. So, I mean, they're just not having a good time, are they, really? They wouldn't be. I'm trying to get my Nehekar and Horsemen free, because these archers bother me for so long, which is just a pain in the ass. But they just get stuck on everything, which is whatever, you know. So the Knights of the Realm are about to break. These Grail Knights are very tattered. It's looking pretty good. I bring over my Lich Priest here, maybe to drop a buff. Let's have a look. Maybe drop a buff or a debuff or some damage. It's hard to see, but he's spent most of the battle buffing and fighting and stuff. These guys are wavering because they're attacked in the rear, but they're also putting some okay hurt on the things, and they're surviving, which is one of the most important things. Big rear charge from Questing Knights. Oof. Doesn't do too much against the spears, though. Knights of the Realm are broken. A really good Earthblood going down. I have to say, that is good. But these guys are shattered, so they fought to the bitter end. I've got to give them that. Oh, don't be trying to retreat past the War Sphinx. You will get battered. Let's see what's going on. We've just got a heal dropped, which is really good. These Tomb Guards will be really helping to even out the odds against these Grail Guardians. Just a bit of Cobra madness over here in the woods, which we like. I'm hoping we're going to get some more stompage from the War Sphinx. Let's have a look. So having dispatched of the anti-large... Oh. He's coming in. He's meant to be anti-infantry, but I'm sure he deals out, you know, a bit of damage here and there. He's dropped Reanimate, which is good. Give them that leadership buff. These Necropolis Knights, after winning the sort of main cavalry engagement, I don't really mind about these questing knights. I pull them over to try and get some support onto this flank over here. So I think those skeleton spears just completely crumbled, which is kind of a pain in the ass. It probably was down to these men-at-arms, which would have been cleaving through them quite hard. These guys are also engaged now. It's a bit of a mess over here, but you know what? We're keeping a lot of his resources busy, and we're reallocating resources over there to do more damage, which is really good. So we'll see what's going on here. At this stage, we just have Spears, Halberd, Nekahara Horseman, and our main Daimyo over here, who's going to be breathing out some blue soul flame business, which is pretty cool. There we go. Roast them. Toast them. He's absolutely pouring people off, mate. It's like a par, but he's pouring them off. So he's doing alright. I don't really want him to stick around there for too long, because I think he'll end up taking loads of damage. Because, you know, that's not his fight. That's not his optimal fighting position. These guys are crumbling, which is crazy. But then they're going to get the support of their boys coming in, who are going to catch a few Grail Guardians and do some problem. You got a problem? Got the Cobra Cav, right. The cavalry, for the most part, are breaking off. These these Tomb Guard Halberd are a really good sort of answer to them. These Grail Knights are going to come in. Oh, with a mighty Bretonian charge, but it's just going to get blocked. And here we go, look. These peasant bowmen are going to get what they had coming to them. After my boy just deals with a little bit of peasant mobbery around here. Here we go. I was saying earlier, like, I love the sort of way it bounds around like a giant dog. It looks so freaking cool. Here we go. You shooting bows at me, boys, you're gonna get absolutely mashed up. Here we go. Oh, we'll go for another run back through. And straight away, naturally, they're terrified. Is that not terrifying? It's a giant stone dog thing that's like jumping around and making it look like fun, but it's actually just mulching you. So these Grail Guardians made a mistake. They come to try and rear charge my Tomb Guard, and they're going to get sandwiched by the Cobra Cav and absolutely cut apart. It's not a good fight for them, but it is a good fight for me. And that's going to be it for them. Bit of a mistake on his part. My Lich Priest is being a boss at the moment. 10 kills, mate. Probably on cavalry as well, a lot of it. What a legend. Meanwhile, my doggy, he's just absolutely mushing some peasants. They've had enough of that. But he's going to get attacked by Leon Kerr here, and that's not something I really want. I feel like Leon Kerr, even on a horse, would probably put some big damage on him. So we're going to pull him out. Necropolis Knights here coming to help the Lich Priest, which is, they are just going to absolutely destroy these yeomen. That is like a dream engagement for them. They're like, yeah, fuck off, boys. Excuse my language, but they are totally like that. Just getting rid of them, seeing them off. And she's not gonna want to fight them either, to be fair, because they are anti-large specialists. Meanwhile, my boy here, he's having a bit of a battle with Leon Kerr. That is one tough horse. Look at it. It's just getting shuffled back. It's not even bothered. Drop Tomb Strike here, just to give a little bit more damage, but it's still not a fight that we want. It says he's winning decisively, it says I'm winning. Someone's got to be losing, do you know what I mean? There can't be two winners. He tries to get the support from his Grail Knights, which I like. That's kind of cool. Last sort of charge of the, you know, the Bretonnians. Meanwhile, everything else has been pretty much dispatched. We're going to bring in these Necropolis Knights, which I think you can agree, having watched this battle, are MVPs. They've had their ups and downs, but they've stood and fought for so long, and I'm sure that they've both dealt some hefty damage. That's the Tomb King. How do I look at them? 55 and 65 was that? Or are we looking at the same people? No, that's Grail Knights. 55 and... am I even bothered about looking at this? Come on. 66. And that'll be a lot of that will be cavalry, which is insane if you think about the cost and stuff. So we're just going to be a little bit cheeky, give him a quick smashy and then pull out. He's dropped the Sword of Quran, which is really good. He probably could have done with that earlier in the battle, I think, to debuff some of the cavalry fights. That would have changed things, put it more in his favour. Here's a funny moment. These brave men-at-arms with the halberds are going to be like, "We're coming, my lord." They think they're Mr. Big Balls. They're going to come and save King Leon in the last minute, but they're about to have a rude awakening. Let's have a look. They're shaking, but they're feeling it. They're charging. They're like, "We're coming, my lord. We're going to do you proud." And then they're like, "Actually, no thanks." And that's it. That's GG. And we didn't even get to see what happened. But, I mean, if we're looking at it, I reckon it wasn't going to be good. At least 80% of these guys were about to get mulched. But yep, I just thought I'd upload this battle because it's sort of like, it's not too like wacky a Tomb King's build. It's like a nice legit one. You've got your, you know, cavalry contingent. You've got your sort of base. You've got your anti-infantry, and you know, it's not just monster spam. I feel like most people probably just spam monsters these days. With the Tomb Kings, that is. Like, people can't help but bring all of the regiments of renown, and it's kind of boring. So here's the final screen. It's sort of like, you know, good kills across the board. He did his job, 135 kills, which is really good on the infantry. You know, we shut down all the cav. We met and fought well. And if you look at it, look at the health of our army, you know. It says Pyrrhic victory, but that seems kind of stupid to me, considering that he lost more than twice. Yeah, more than twice as many as my troops, which, you know. All in all, it was a good battle. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to see more content, other builds, whatever, let me know. I'm uploading a Battlegrounds montage soon, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. Peace out, sucker blitz.